discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, application 6557. Good afternoon. Your name and address, sir?
Sure. Murphy Bishop, 1410 Government Street.
Okay, and you're asking for an extension as well?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, any particular reason?
Everything is in progress. We've been going through the list. We've checked several things off. We just need a little more time to complete some of the engineering work and things of that nature.
Okay. Any questions of the board for the applicant? Okay, there are none. Do we have anyone in the audience either in support or opposition who would like to speak on this application? Okay, we have none for the record. All right, thank you. That'll conclude our public hearing on this request. Applicants request an extension. Chair, entertain a motion.
Move to approve 6-month extension.
Do I have a motion to approve a 6-month extension? Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, we'll go to the next. Application 6583, 6527, 5983, 4606. Good afternoon. Your name and address, sir?
Tim Spafford, 1263 Lake Circle West.
Okay, and you want to explain the purpose for the application, please?
The Bethesda Christian Center, they are building a new sanctuary on their property. They have gone through the process of getting 2 pieces of property re-subdivided into one. And David Schumer is the civil engineer on the project. The land disturbance package was submitted and the permit issued. When we came back and had completed the building drawings and submitted for building permit, the city review requested additional modifications. And we were in the process of complying with some of them. Some of them were going to require a major change to what had already been approved. And so we're asking for some relief on some of those items.
Okay. Okay, the first is the front landscape area, frontage tree, parking layout. There's quite a bit with that. So landscape, and then wall variations in I-1. I don't know if I've seen that one before. And does not allow church in I-1 light industry. Have we seen this one before?
Yes, you've seen it before, and I'll have Ms. York give more specific information regarding the request. But some of the things that they're asking for,
Pull your mic over a little bit.
okay. Some of the things that they are requesting are new via the UDC, but because they're building a new building, they're increasing, the amount of square footage on the site. Full compliance is required. Wall variations, one of them. It's to integrate some very small design requirements, some aesthetics. It's strictly, you have a menu of options. You have to pick one. There were none selected. But I'll have Ms. York answer any further questions on this application.
All right. Is there any questions of the board for Ms. York as it relates? Do you have the list of the various items in front of you? If you'll
Just-
go through them and explain why we should consider each one, or you have some?
If we'll
Something in
address
specific.
them point by point,
Please.
Okay. The wall variation, that's something was added to the development code at the beginning of last year. For this project, it doesn't really affect anything because this building is behind the building that faces the street. So if we have a wall variation, it doesn't really do anything. Right now, the project is submitted with the wall variation. but it's just a tacked-on item. So we'd just like to not do it. We are working with a metal building structure that they're using for their church sanctuary. And, you know, the structure doesn't lend itself unless you go in with that in mind. And this project has been ongoing a while. It started before that became a requirement. So the metal building was designed and a deposit put down and everything before that was a requirement.
How about the landscaping?
The landscaping, this is in an industrial area, and when we applied for the variance the first time, the site plan we submitted is essentially the same, and we were just limited on frontage because the existing building is so close to the Western Drive. All the other properties on the other side of the street are nothing but asphalt. So, you know, it's nice to have landscape area, but in this case, we're not negatively impacting the neighborhood at all.
Okay, the site drawing looks like, or the aerial, there's quite a bit of vegetation towards the east side of the site.
That's the back side of the site. That's a lower area. We're not really utilizing that for this project.
Okay.
But I mean, all that's going to remain.
All right.
Can I ask a quick question to staff? These landscape requirements are the new landscape requirements that are tagged to an I-1 site, or is this additional landscape requirements because of the variance they got to allow a church in an I-1 area?
So the front landscape area requirement is the same as it was pre-UDC. That part did not change for this site. However, what is different is the frontage tree plantings. They're not necessarily wanting to not plant frontage trees, but they're wanting them to be within 15 feet of overhead power lines, which the UDC does specifically prohibit. So they are requesting that to be considered.
So the UDC doesn't allow any certain species within 15 feet. It says no trees at all.
No trees at all, yes, sir.
Which is a change from previous.
Yes, that is a change.
That's a good change because on previous projects, we've had to plant live oaks underneath power lines. And on several projects that I've been involved with, we now have flat top trees, which look stupid.
Okay, what about the bicycle parking?
We don't anticipate any bicycles coming. The area where the bicycle rack would be mounted is going to be paved. If the church finds that maybe some of the youth or something get to the church with bicycles, they could easily add the bicycle rack in the future.
So you will have a bicycle rack.
We're asking not to have one.
Okay. All right. Any other questions of the board? Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Metcalf.
staff, can you be more, and to Tim, more specific about this wall? What is it that the city is, through the code, is asking for on this metal wall?
The
We're
case
asking staff. I
Oh,
think
it's either or.
the case that I used for this building was a vertical element. And the definition of the vertical element, it has to be the full height of the building, at least 12 inches wide and at least 4 inches deep. So we have a piece of sheet metal
Gotcha.
formed 12 inches wide, 4 inches deep,
Yeah,
going
I
up
got
the height of the building.
I got it.
I think we have 2 of them.
Did that clarify, Mr. Metcalf?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other questions of the board for the applicant?
Yeah, well,
Mr. Morris?
in regards to your forestry areas, I got a lot of trees back there. Gonna remove all those trees in the new construction or what?
No, all the trees in the back, like I said, that area is low and it's not being developed. So all the trees in the back remain, and we are planting some trees with the development, but we do have the problem with the power line running right along the front property line.
Okay. All right. Do we have anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this application? Anyone in opposition today? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That'll conclude our public hearing on this application. I think the applicant's given a fairly good overview of why they would like the variance request and the various elements of it. With that, Chair, entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve and based upon the findings of fact and the considerations and subject to the staff's recommendations.
Yeah, I have a motion to approve all aspects of the
Yes.
variance request. Okay, with that, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, application 6584. Mr. Byrd?
Jerry Bird, Bird Survey, 2609 Halls Mill Road. Here for the applicant. We're asking for a variance for the pedestrian connection sidewalk from the public sidewalk to the building on this proposal. The property is in blue. We're planning to construct the green sidewalk out front. This is Schillingers Road. This is the building. The property has a variation of 20 feet from Schillingers Road to the rear of the lot in 250 feet. Cut the site down 6.5 feet to where the building, that's where the building is being placed, and that's utilizing a retaining wall in the rear, and then grading it on down to Schillingers to construct the sidewalk that runs from Schillingers Road back to the building. If you construct it ADA standards, where it comes in, the red line, where it comes in this area here, kind of opposite the building, is 4 feet lower than the parking lot. That's 1 foot in 12 for 30 feet in a flat spot, and 1 in 12 for another 30 feet and going up. And that's the reason we're asking for a variance from constructing that sidewalk.
Is there a public sidewalk on Schillinger currently?
Not yet.
But you
We'll
will
be
have.
the only one there.
Okay. All right. Any other questions of the board for the applicant? To make it ADA compliant, you'll have to switch back, or if you were to build one, I mean, how would that even be constructed?
Actually, I don't know if you could reach it if you ever went all the way to the very back.
You'd have to have handrails and everything else.
Yeah, but with ADA, I mean, you can't have steps.
Correct. Okay. Once again, any questions of the board for the applicant? All right. Anyone in the audience, either in support or opposition today? Okay. We have none for the record. All right. That concludes our public hearing on the application. Chair, entertain a motion.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chair.
And findings of fact.
Findings of fact and all the considerations. Let's see.
Okay. A motion to approve. Do I have a second? Have a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, we're on application 5, which is 6558. No, excuse me, 6585, 6317, 1387, 1286, 452, 272, and 243 regarding 1500 Government Street. Your name and address, please.
Shanna Miller, 11635 Taylor's Drive.
All right, and you want to tell us why we should consider the variance for the sign?
Yes, sir. I'm asking for a variance to install some additional wall signage for Sage Health to the existing wall sign that's already there. All we're asking for is an additional logo, which is the leaf logo. It will go over the square footage in the historic district. The square footage is 64 square feet. Right now, the existing wall sign is 60 square feet. This addition will make it 23 more square feet than what it is. We have already been approved by the historic district for this sign. And it's just this additional leaf logo right here.
You said you've already have an architectural review board approval?
Yes, I do. I already have a permit from you.
So that's a company brand.
Yes, it is.
All right. Any questions of the board for the applicant? All right. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on the application, either in support or opposition? Okay, we have none for the record. Thank you. That concludes our public hearing on this application. This seems very much in line with other variance requests we've had, that the branding emblem or logos have been a part of the sign. And I think this board's been considerate of those applications. With that, Chair, entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, based upon Sage Health is, I believe, for seniors, and with the vegetation at that site, it's hard to see that sign, and I think that logo will be very helpful. And based upon the standards of review and considerations, I move for approval.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have Mr. Davis as a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you. All right, application 6586, my understanding, has been withdrawn. Okay, so we'll go to application 6587. 1408 Persimmon Street. Is the applicant here? I'm here. Yes. Yeah, you have to come down here. Take your time.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. This address is 1408 Persimmon Street, but my mother's house is 1400 Persimmon Street.
Okay, well, let's get a clarification from staff. First of all, your full name?
It's Stephanie Buford.
Okay. And so are we looking at 1408 or 1400?
I got the letter right here, 14.
Are you the applicant?
No, ma'am, I didn't do anything. They sent it to me,
Okay.
to my mother's house.
Okay, I think we understand the confusion.
Okay.
If you'll have a seat for a minute.
She's not the applicant.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Okay, the applicant's in the back. Okay, your name and address, please.
Charlie Sands. I am a general contractor working on this. So our address is 5678 Government Boulevard.
All right, let me make sure I get the right application here. And the application is for a side yard setback
Yes, sir.
reduced? An R1. So you want to tell the board why we should consider the application?
So we're a general contractor for the HRAP program, the Home Recovery of Alabama program. Our homeowner that currently lives there, he had his property damaged in the latest of our hurricanes that we've had, Hurricane Sally and Zeta. This is one of 50 projects that we are handling right now. And so what the program allows us is a certain amount of floor plans. We have to choose those floor plans basically on the size of these properties. Unfortunately, even the smallest floor plan that the program allows us still requires us to get this variance. So we are sitting right now, his current property is already over that setback. We're basically putting the new construction in the same footprint.
Well, it looks like one side is within the setback, the other is possibly,
A foot, I believe, a foot and 2 inches off.
so it'll be equally spaced within
Yes.
the footprint of the site.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any questions of the board for the applicant's rep? Okay. Do we have anyone in the audience either in support or opposition today? And your time in this area, do you find this is pretty consistent with the other homes within the same proximity?
Yes, sir. Within this block, if you go down Persimmons a little bit, there are other properties that have multiple lots that they're kind of in the middle of. But as far as this, like within the 300 square foot around this area, it's pretty consistent with everybody else.
Okay. All right. If you'll have a seat.
Yes.
Did you want to speak on this application? Okay. All right. Do we have anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this application, either in support or opposition? All right. With that, we'll conclude our public hearing for the application. Just looking at the surrounding residential units, this seems to be very consistent. Some of them even look like they're on the property lines. Okay. That'll conclude our public hearing. Chair, entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I motion to approve based on findings and facts.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. Application is approved. All right, I think we're on the main one everybody else is here for. Number 8, 6588, 5326, regarding 11 Government Street. Your name and address for the record.
Sarah Benson, address is 1 Massachusetts Avenue, Washington, D.C. 20001.
Okay, and this is a special exception to allow a passenger depot in a B4 General Business District. Unified Development Code, UDC, requires a special exception to allow a passenger depot in a B4 General Business District. And there's a whole list of findings of fact that we have to, I guess, consider. So tell us why we should consider the special exception.
Okay, well, good afternoon. Thank you for allowing me to take the time to speak to you today. The special exception application is for the placement of a temporary passenger rail platform at 11 Government Street, which currently is a 1.3 acre parcel that's currently zoned B4. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina led to the suspension of Amtrak service along the Gulf Coast. It's Amtrak's desire to reopen all the stations and restore intercity passenger rail service along the corridor. This in turn would provide regional connectivity for both Mobile residents and visitors. Amtrak has been able to successfully construct similar temporary platforms at Gulfport, Biloxi, Pascagoula, and Bay St. Louis. Mobile would be the final station. This project will consist of installing an approximate 1,400 square foot temporary platform on a small portion of the existing parking lot. The proposed location of the temporary platform is approximately where the former Mobile Amtrak station stood. The project I want to mention is currently in the federal NEPA process and has already received concurrence from the Alabama State Historic Preservation Office. This project includes a temporary aluminum platform, which is measuring 109 feet by 13 feet. It includes 3 ADA accessible parking spaces directly adjacent to the platform, new station identification signage, and new lighting that actually will be solar powered, so it would not require any utility connections at all. The platform, sign, light poles are all going to be installed on concrete pylon footings. The project will also include restriping the remaining existing parking stalls after our construction is completed. The proposed temporary platform is consistent with the intent of the future land use designation of downtown waterfront by adding new access opportunities for both residents and visitors to the area attractions. The surrounding area and neighborhood are comprised of commercial, institutional, and industrial uses in downtown Mobile and along the waterfront. There are several cultural attractions, such as the History Museum of Mobile, the Mobile Convention Center, and many others, all well within walking distance of the proposed train station. Rail service will boost the economic development of the area by directly connecting passengers to these businesses and attractions. The station site is located near many existing transportation corridors and terminals, including existing rail lines, Interstate 10, Water Street, and the Mobile Cruise Terminal. The project will restore intercity passenger rail service to Mobile after nearly 20 years. Passenger rail is an accessible and efficient mode of transportation that will provide regional connectivity for Mobile. This project introduces a new transportation option, thereby strengthening the resiliency of the regional transportation system. The City of Mobile staff report determined that this temporary platform project does in fact meet all criteria for the special exception. For this and the reasons I just discussed, we ask for the board's approval of the special exception. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions of the board?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I'm curious, why, will the permanent structure be in the exact same spot?
It will be very close to the same spot. The final platform will actually be longer.
But what will the difference be between, I'm just wondering why it's temporary and why not go ahead and do what you're gonna do?
Funding? We have the funds to do the temporary platform at this point. The final platform will actually be full concrete like our typical station will be.
Okay, any additional questions of the board for the applicant? I guess temporary, what qualifies as temporary for this application?
Do you all want to asking what
How
temporary?
long do we consider this temporary?
Even though she's using the word temporary, this is not a temporary variance. It's just a temporary building that they're going to put a better building on. So it's not really like we would think of a temporary variance.
Okay. All right. Any other questions of the board?
We have an additional speaker.
Yeah, I'm going to
Okay.
call for additional speakers.
Thank you, sir.
All right. And I do want to reference for the board that we've had several public comments in support of this. That was part of our package. Do we have anyone in opposition that have provided comments?
Not via comment submitted.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll turn
All
this
right.
over to Ray.
And
Thank
we'll
you.
do 4 in support and 4 in opposition if we have that number. Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Ray Lang. I'm the Vice President of the State Supported Service Line at
Your
Amtrak.
address too.
And my office address is 525 West Van Buren Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60607, Chicago Union Station.
All right. Welcome to Mobile.
Thanks very much. And thank you, Sarah, for walking us through that. I'm here to just sort of augment and add to what Sarah said and present the corporation's strong support to the construction of this temporary facility and ultimately a permanent facility. And I think what I will say to you here is your question was the good one. Your question was the right one about temporary structure. I believe it was you who asked that. It's not uncommon when we start new services on new routes to new parts of the country to have interim facilities, temporary facilities that clearly the platforms are concrete and they're ADA compliant and allow for the trains to begin operating. Generally, we work with the communities we serve on permanent structures. We want the structures to represent the character of the community that they, that the train serves and have community input into the design and ultimate final use of the facilities. We have a number of different types of train stations around the country. We just had a new member of our board of directors appointed, a gentleman named Chris Coos, the mayor of Normal, Illinois. Mr. Coos, as mayor, rebuilt a station or built a brand new station from the ground up in downtown Normal. He has the city council chambers on the upstairs floor. We serve airports, we serve ferry terminals, we serve ski resorts, we serve universities. We have universities that are landlords for us as well. The point is that the communities, the cities we serve, have a great deal of input in the final design of their structures, and we look forward to that here in Mobile. We're excited about this. As Sarah said, passenger rail is an economically viable form of transportation. We provide city center to city center service. We will drop passengers off and pick passengers up in downtown Mobile. We think it will be a wonderful addition to the community. We look forward to working with you all on a final design of a permanent facility in downtown Mobile. We're very excited for the chance to be here, and thanks so much for the opportunity. That we are here today really as a sign of the fact that after years of hard work, we're standing shoulder to shoulder with CSX, Jane, who's going to speak next, and representatives of the Port of Alabama. We've really come to an agreement and are excited about that. And unless there's any other questions for me, I'll turn it over to Jane Covington.
Okay. Do we have any questions of the board? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon. Your name and address.
Good afternoon. My name is Jane Covington, and my address is 1835 Barnstaple Lane, Brentwood, Tennessee. Again, I'm Jane Covington, and I work for CSX, which is the freight railroad that would be host to this proposed new passenger service. And the station property that is being considered here today is the location that was agreed upon by all the parties who are part of the effort to bring this new service back to Mobile. The related infrastructure that is part of the agreement will allow CSX to continue to serve its freight customers, which includes the Port of Mobile, obviously very important to you guys, without interruption from the passenger trains. Favorable action here today will advance the implementation of the agreement that will allow all the parties, and all the parties include two freight railroads, the Port of Mobile, and of course Amtrak, to operate freight rail and passenger rail both safely and efficiently once the infrastructure is complete. Just wanted to make sure you all knew that from the freight perspective, we are in agreement with this location with the associated infrastructure.
Okay,
Thank you.
Any questions? All right, thank you. All right, we have good afternoon. Your name and address, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Catherine Reeves. I work for the Alabama Port Authority, and we are located at 250 North Water Street here in Mobile. Also here with me today is my colleague, Maggie Oliver. So thank you for taking the opportunity to allow us to speak with you regarding the station location. The port affirms that once there is a signed agreement in place between the City of Mobile and Amtrak, the station location in question will indirectly support the port's ability to accommodate passenger trains south of the convention center. The proposed passenger station facility is inherently linked to the construction of a new passenger station lead track, and this lead track cannot be constructed without the facility at issue here. The port considers the lead track to be essential to protecting freight railroad service in the Mobile terminal area should Amtrak commence service from New Orleans to Mobile. In short, favorable action will indirectly provide for important protections for freight service once passenger service commences. We appreciate the city's support as we continue to serve our customers here in Mobile and throughout the state, and we thank you for taking the time to hear from the Port Authority today.
Okay. Do we have any questions of the board? All right, thank you. All right, I think we have room for, that's four? All right. So do we have anyone in the audience that was in opposition and would like to speak today? Okay, we have none present. And as stated initially, we had, I guess, several comments in support. 5 in support. All right. Well, I guess that will conclude our public hearing on this special exception application. Discussion of the board. Okay, I'll call for a motion of the board.
I'll make a motion to approve considering findings of facts 1 through 12.
All right. I have a motion to approve. I have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for your time today. All right. All right, Mr. Anderson, do we have any other business today?
Nothing new to report on the St. Ignatius Cemetery appeal, other than that the Sandtown Association has intervened in the case, so we're going full speed ahead and setting depositions.
Okay. And any other business from staff? All right.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Metcalf.
Doug, how about the Texas Street deal?
That appeal was dismissed.
Well,
But the appellant, Mr. Reggie Hill, has filed a motion for reconsideration, which was set last Thursday. It was canceled at the last minute and waiting for that motion to be heard again or be held. So it was dismissed. So as of now, it would be allowed. The bus station or the bus facility would be allowed unless the judge changes his mind.
All right. With that, any other questions of the